what's going on, everybody? It's the main man, the one and only Alpha Crow. I hope everybody's had a good last few days since the last video. We got another banger for you guys. This one is Isaiah from Gamer Advantage talking to Dev from Sizzle Popcorn. If this company is potentially in your bag that you want to partner with, this video is for you. Check it out.
Okay, yeah, we can get started here. Yeah, Dev, if you want to just introduce yourself real quick, that'd be great.
Sure. Yeah. So for anyway, you know what? First of all, good evening, Friday night. Weekend's here, so I'm happy to do this. It's gonna be a nice, cool chat. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm the owner and founder of Sizzle Popcorn. I started Sizzle Popcorn a couple years ago. I know Cheesy and I were gonna get into like the why and how and all that stuff. But yeah, I guess that's like the short version. Sizzle, we provide snacks for the gaming industry, content creation industry, like anything to do online. Sizzle Popcorn is the go-to, and yeah, we're gonna get into all that. And
yeah, we'll get into it all, and definitely there's some good questions will be asked and all that. So yeah, first I think we want to go over, how did Sizzle Dev get into the gaming industry? Like everyone has their origin, right? Everyone has the thing that they started with. For me, it was literally just seeing like this really cool like 360 no scope montage and be like, holy crap, I want to do this. And I was like 12. And so it's like we all have, how we got involved. So how did you get involved with the gaming industry? When did you hear about it first? And then like what was the step you took to get involved?
Yeah, love the question. I always was a big fan of watching streams on Twitch. I'm somewhat of like a more of like a offline gamer, gaming since I'm like I don't know forever basically. I used to have a PS1, playing Crash Bandicoot, Nintendo with my cousins. Like it's just been my whole life. But I guess you could say like in the streaming, going live and stuff. I haven't gone live yet. I actually will be doing so very soon. But actually getting into gaming with Sizzle Popcorn, if I could start there. As I mentioned, I've always been a fan of watching streams, and I always ate popcorn doing that. And through I guess the time of me doing that, I realized that there was like a gap in the really a go-to popcorn or a go-to like finger food snack that's like on the healthier side of things. And I've always really I don't know what it is, but originally like where I'm from in Montreal, Canada. If anybody didn't know, Sizzle Popcorn is actually a Canadian-based company and based out of Montreal, Canada. And in my town, what I did initially was rent popcorn machines and concession like local events. People would call, and then they would rent our machines. We'd go there, and then we would serve popcorn. So this is like a really great origin story of like how it all began. And events, people would ask, if they could buy the popcorn that we were serving from the machines anywhere. We had different shaker flavors, and at the time it wasn't, and I never really considered, that we'd ever do that. So people asked, could I buy it anywhere? And I said no, but it kind of sparked the idea to actually start something and get the popcorn packaged up. And I guess this, tying it back into me being a streaming, where are we gonna sell Sizzle? Who's gonna like Sizzle? And I thought back to the gaming, and I just tied it in. It was like a very like not really coincidental, more like I guess you could say like a fate thing. Where it just like made sense that I've gaming fan watching streams, eating machines at events, and people asked where they could buy it or how they could buy it, and I just sort of tied that in to gaming. So it's like a pretty cool story. That's really where it all started. How I got into like the space that Sizzle Popcorn personally as a whole, and I couldn't be more thankful. So yeah, that's really the story of how it all started. So. Yeah, and we're just gonna keep it going, and gaming has been amazing to myself.
Okay. Yeah. So that's awesome, and I love that kind of it. Like that's actually one of the coolest connections I've heard for someone starting a brand. Is like, yeah, I was watching streams, I was eating popcorn, and then like what I mean. Obviously, there's everything else, but I love that connection there. That because I feel like that's something a lot of people do, and like not a lot of people would think to just go beyond that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was a pretty cool thing. Yeah. If you have any questions, we will be doing questions at the end for a little bit. So we can, so you maybe just like write it down for now, just so you can remember it, and then we can go over questions then. So yeah, it kind of answers, a couple things I wanted to go over too, and one of the biggest things I want to know is like, what enticed you to stay in the gaming industry? I'm like, yeah, so you got in there, you started your company, but it's like, a lot of people will start their companies and then it kind of phases out after a bit. So what was like, yeah, I want to keep doing this. This is something you know what I mean, that I like, that I love. What was, I don't know if there was like a defining moment or like something specific that has kept you here, and whether it's like you love the content creators or anything else like that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm all about people. I love having conversations. I love meeting new people. I love making those connections. Like I said, it's all about just like that emotional, I guess, things, creating connections again with people. So like that's what really keeps it going. For me, I don't really. I mean, of course, I focus on the business side of things, and everything related to business. Like that's like my passion. But I guess going hand in hand with, again, the people, the community. That's really what keeps it going for the popcorn. Yes, we sell popcorn, but it's more helping people, I guess, stay motivated, stay. I myself am a very disciplined individual, very consistent. So I mean, like, I always think back to why we started this. What is the point of Sizzle? Why did we start the brand? Like, what is it that sparked the idea to start Sizzle Popcorn, and what was the inspiration behind why I wanted to actually introduce it? So I always think back to that. It's not only about selling popcorn for me. Of course, I love to sell popcorn, and I think popcorn's like my favorite thing in the world. Extreme passion for it. I know that's a little odd to hear, but everybody finds their passion, and I just so happen, to find mine in popcorn. And it's really everything outside that really kept this whole thing up, and also the entire team, and all the staff that we've had over the last 2 years. A bunch of people have come and gone, but I'm thankful to every single one of them, and really it's the team and the Sizzle fam, and everybody that's involved, all the kernels, all the poppers, that's really helped keep this going. Everyone on Twitter, it's been a whirlwind, and cheesy, like that's really why we've kept this going. It's all about the people. That's really what this is. It's like, I can't really. My drive is there because the people that are loyal to our brand and our community have just stuck around the last 2 years and have just like amazing. So yeah, that's why it hasn't faded, and I see us just continuing that whole thing and figuring it out as we go. We're not perfect. Nothing is. We're not going to give up.
Oh, no, for sure. That's good.
Yeah.
Definitely, I feel like for most companies that stay, that is kind of why they're staying, is definitely the community aspect. And definitely communities are amazing. I mean, I can even tell, just from this last week of starting this Discord, like, yeah, community is everything, really. And so that's great. And I love honestly, I love the names you guys have for your partners. I first heard it from Veronica, I believe, the Colonel and then Popper, for different levels of partnership. And I thought that was super cool and super unique. And I loved how it played right into your niche. So I always love when I hear that. So yeah, you've went over a lot of things. I knew kind of some of my points, some of my questions were going to be, a little conjoined, going over several, at a time. But, my question is, obviously you answered like some things for starting it up, but like, if someone else wants to start their own business within the industry, like, what do you think are like the most important few steps? Obviously, like, there's so much to going into a business. Like, if someone's like, yeah, like, I wanted to like start my own product, like we just saw Brendan, he was in the general chat, and I actually shared his Discord in here, but he just started a company, GG Labs. It's a new caffeinated product. He's got like these really cool, mixtures to it. So, he just started. So like, what would you recommend? And we'll get into the partnerships, everyone, here pretty soon, but I just kind of want to know because there might be someone who has this kind of question. What would you recommend as someone who is, wanting to get more into the business side of the industry?
Yeah, I mean, look, starting a business yourself is no easy feat. There's going to be good times, bad times, but be ready to be disappointed. That's, one of the things that you should expect to be disappointed. and things go well, and things go bad for that matter. But again, expect disappointment. It just always happens. Nothing ever is. But getting into like the business side of things, where I was getting at with starting yourself. I mean, initially, like, if you don't know what you're doing at the start, and if it's your first like crack or kick at the can, whatever you want to call it, in starting a business, you're gonna go. Don't be afraid of looking bad in front of people. But look, where I'm going with this is, if you really want to learn about start, okay, because are like the most scrappy, chaotic places, and things you could be involved in. You learn so much in a startup. So like everything that goes into it, which is, I guess I could start from the bottom. That would be like one of my main things. If you don't have a brand identity to begin with, and you're basically just creating a logo, and you didn't go far enough. You really need to, if you want to have a successful product, a successful launch to your button down your brand, you need to know who you're going to sell to, literally what they look like to a T, who they are, characters, come up with personas. They don't even need to be real people. Figure out your demographic. If you're sitting there and thinking, I'm going to everybody, no one's going to buy it, because who's your customer? You need to answer that question first. Who is your customer? Who's going to buy? Whose eyes are going to, who's going to lay their eyes on your product, basically? How are they going to relate to your brand? Do they identify it emotionally? Do they see themselves using your product through your branding, through your messaging, just through everything that you put together as an entrepreneur? Like, where are you going with your company? How is it going to evolve over time? Also, think to yourself, it does. You could have an imperfect product, while at the same time figuring out or really narrowing down your niche initially came up with through your brand development. One of the great things that I've learned while building a brand is you need to take notes of this, because this is really super important. For those of you that are serious about starting a company, come up with 3 adjectives that describe your brand, and those 3 adjectives are bold, edgy, and exciting. So the bold aspect, okay? Content creators, gamers, folks that are in that space, they're bold. They don't care to speak their minds. They don't care to do things. They're not afraid to do things, that are sort of like outside the box. They're not afraid to show themselves. Are going to be exciting. Obviously, that's why people watch them. That's why people are, join their community. That's why people, pop into their streams, because they're exciting. So that's another thing. So 2 words already that, where people could relate to Sizzle. And then the last one is edgy. Okay. They got that edge shoulder. They may not really care what people think of them. That edginess. So, yeah, and I think those words have really carried Sizzle through like development. Through the last couple of years, we actually started like coming up with a whole brand concept, the design of like Rocket, the colors, the messaging, the demographic, everything. It was about 3 years ago, I'd say March 2019. And the brand only launched a year later, personally about a year, to get everything together and actually be like somewhat comfortable with comfortable with messaging was, how we wanted to launch, where we wanted to launch. So when I say where, what social platform we wanted to initially introduce. Started off on Instagram. I was actually posting or reposting like Rocket League clips on our IG page. You can't see them now because they're all archived, but initially, and I tried anything. I even did some promo with like Minecraft pages, which didn't work. So you got some trial and error, and don't be afraid again to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to not be perfect, and you need to exude other thing. You got to be very patient when starting a business, getting into business, making connections with people, and just like it's really about your network. It's about initially, obviously, you're not going to know anyone, or you may know some people, but utilize your, and there's so many people that want to help, that want to get involved. Don't be afraid to reach out to people, ask for help, because there's no way that you get business related on your own. There's just so much that goes into it. But if you want to launch your own product, if you want to get your own, really know who you're going to sell to, how you're going to sell it, button down your brand, and just get everything in order. I always say, like, have like a website with colors and a logo. It's not enough, but at the same time, start your website. If this is where I always begin, it's like one of my first things. It's like a good way to map out your ideas, not just have them floating in your head. I don't know if you have experience with building websites. I would do it for sure. At all. It's just a way to map out your ideas, map out your business model to see if it's even viable. Okay, and if it makes sense on paper, and put it down and you see it visually, it may not make sense, and then you saved yourself a bunch of trouble. So yeah, I mean, I have my methods. I mean, it works for me. Find what works for you. And if you make mistakes along the way, that's good. You're learning, and you're ahead of 90% of people who just think of it. Again, one of the other things very important: just take action, get started, do things that you may not be comfortable doing, and then you never know what's going.
For sure, no, that's great.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that stood out to me there, that I think this can apply to everyone here, because everyone here has their own brand, their own type of stream, their own content, and again, your own brand. And I think the biggest thing that stuck out to me was the 3 adjectives. Because what you just explained doesn't just go across just starting a product brand. This is just establishing your brand, being different, and it definitely, the 3 adjectives thing, I would recommend that to everyone here, is define what you want your stream to look like, your brand to look like, your content to look like. Have your 3 adjectives, figure out what you want, and then make sure you stick to that. I think that was actually very important. Some really good insight there onto how to stay true to yourself, for sure. So that's great. Now let's get into partnerships and kind of the big thing here. This is going to cover how to partner with Sizzle Popcorn, but I'm going to do a few different questions here and just do a decently short answer on each one. There's going to be 5 questions, so let's not let this run longer than maybe 10-ish minutes. But here's the first question. What should a content creator do to stand out? For Sizzle Popcorn, what should, for your eyes, what should they do to stand out?
Well, I mean, be yourself. Always the first thing right away. I don't even need to think about that. Be yourself. Stay true to who you are. And you know what? We could relate this. We could relate this back to finished with, which is creating your own brand. So having a brand around yourself, that personal brand. And like sticking true to it. Like don't really go outside of what you've established as your brand, and just like double down, triple down on it. So if you're just established streamer or content creator and you found your identity of like who you are as a streamer, who you are as a content creator, don't go out. If it's working for you, obviously don't leave it. But if you think you need to like tweak things here and there, obviously because you think or that that's what you want to do and that's really who you are, to speak your mind. Don't be afraid to stand out from the crowd. Like be proud of like who you are. Represent yourself. Represent your own. Also, I mean, specifically if we're talking about Sizzle, obviously we love when people love Sizzle Popcorn and actually enjoy the product and want to try, and a user or a consumer of our product before we even like consider bringing them in or partnering with them as a content creator. It's just about like really true love for it, showing that you're a part of the community, showing that you're just like a part of the whole movement. Everything that we do with Sizzle, everything that we're about, really what helps stand out. It's not just about getting a code and then having it in your bio on Twitter and just like saying that you're Sizzle. It's so much more than that. When you're partnered with Sizzle, you're part of the community. You're part of the Sizzle fam. Okay, but nobody's in the Sizzle fam or joining the community before you have a code, before you're actually officially working with us. So like my thing would be basically invite yourself to our community. Be a part of it before you're even a part of it, if that makes sense. Just like don't do it. I don't really like using this word, clout, but like don't do it for the attention of like, oh, I got a code, or I'm partnered with X company. Do it because you have a product. Do it because you want to share this love for a product with your own community. And really that's where it starts. It starts with you.
Sure.
And,
I think definitely something.
yeah, and I was just gonna say, just double down on yourself and just like, stick to who you are, and don't sell, and then the products or whatever you want to promote to your communities will sell themselves.
For sure. And something to cap onto that is we definitely went over that in our first workshop on how to get partnerships.
Yeah.
A lot of people will get a partnership to try to be able to use the product because they get free product with the partnership.
Yep.
But a lot of things that partnership managers and companies are looking for is someone who has tried the product, because they want genuine testimonials of people who have used the product. That is, way more important to them than some huge streamer, unboxing and then promoting it. It's like, yeah, this person might be a smaller streamer, but it's like they've been using our product. They love our product. They're a way better advocate for our brand than anyone ever could be. Exactly. So definitely recommend that to you guys. That's kind of what he talked on too, is, try product before, partnering. I mean, not always, I understand if it's a Respawn chair and it's $300, like that makes sense. That's expensive. Yeah. And that's a great benefit to having a partnership. But just if you're able to, definitely try a product. That way you even know that it's something that you want a partnership with, you want to have a partnership with. And so this is a really quick one. What games do you look for partnerships? Is there certain ones you look for? So what is your opinion on that?
You mean like what games people are streaming? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, exactly. What type of content? Are you looking for Warzone streamers? Are you looking for YouTubers? What is content that Sizzle likes to focus on?
We don't really have like a focus when it comes to games in particular. It's attitude. It's more your vibe. That's really what it is. It's more like who you are. How you're representing yourself while playing those games. We've had in our program, we've had people from Call of Duty, Star Wars, people that play Tetris, Dead. But it's really we don't really ask for any type of game. It's more like how you are while making your videos. What does your YouTube channel look like? Just there's no really specific thing.
Yeah. So would you say energy is pretty important?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. What's your energy like? Are you
okay?
Yeah, exactly. Does your energy match the energy of popcorn? Basically, you could say that.
Sure. So
yeah.
Okay, that's great. I think people know kind of what you're looking for. Now you're looking, for someone who has your established brand, someone who's true to themselves, brings energy. It doesn't matter what they're doing as long as they got that content. And you know what I mean? So I feel like I feel like a good about of what you guys are looking for. And so next step is, if someone's like, yeah, I think I fit those. I think my brand is ready. I think I have people that want to partner with with that product. I've tried it. I love it. I have that energy. I'm ready. What is the next step for someone? How should they go about trying to apply for a Sizzle partnership?
Well, yeah, good question. Just another thing I wanted to add. I didn't use this word, but the word so genuine in a genuine reaction to the product, genuine in yourself, be real. But when joining the program or actually being a part of it, don't try to force it. Okay, don't be too pushy when it comes to wanting to be a part of the program. Just like spamming socials on Twitter and sending 1,000 DMs. Like that's not really going to do you any good. It's if you're down to join, make it as if you're already part of the company, partnered with us, and we'll see you. We have a nice sized team right now, and we don't miss a thing. On Twitter, mostly it's really Twitter. Like that's where we find all of our people. And just be a part of the community. And if you're killing it, and if you're just like so into it and promoting Sizzle like without even being a we're gonna come up to you, we're gonna approach you, and you know we're gonna have a talk with you. Another way you could do it, which is less frequent, or I'd say a little bit, I guess like I say like I don't know, I guess like textbook. I don't know really how to explain this, but wait for applications to open, and they don't always open. One was in March, so that was like what 3 months ago, whatever 2 months, yeah, more like 4 months ago. So like, and you don't know when. This is something we do, you know, once or twice a year, and you know, when you get your shot or when you get your chance to apply, do it. And you know, most of the time, people matter. It's really just, you know, for us to, or for you to get our attention. It doesn't mean you're gonna get partnered right away. But yeah, apply when applications are. What I said before, show up. Basically, just show up. Don't try to force it, and just be a part of the community, and we'll see you for sure.
That's awesome. And I think that goes for a lot of companies, you know what I mean, is just being a part of that community and being super active. And I like how you said don't force it. I think that's really important. I think a lot of people, you know, get this idea of a partnership in their head, and it's like it's just like all they can think about. And I get that that's tunnel vision, you know, but you know, don't spam a partnership manager's DMs. Don't, you know, because that will just, you know, they're already so busy. So that's definitely, you know, don't force it, and you know, make sure your community is always ready as well for something. You know, don't force your community into it either. And actually, if you guys are, you know, interested in learning how to approach a partnership manager, it's actually, if you go to links and you go to the workshops thing, there's actually a playlist of workshops we've done here, and we actually went over a big call on how to approach partnership managers. I'm actually going to quickly tag both the partnership managers for Sizzle Popcorn in general chat here. And also, if you go to the roles on the right side, you'll see when they are active. Currently, you can see Panda is active as a Sizzle Popcorn Partnership Manager. Panda is active right now. We do have 2 representatives in here. I'm going to tag them real quick. Those are both Sizzle Popcorn Partnership Managers. Both of them, you know, you can reach out to through there as well. So no, that's great. I'm glad. I think that was really good insight on how to, you know, how to get a hold of you guys. And I think this is, you know, it's always like, you know, you're on the end of, you know, your company and you're saying, hey, why should I accept this person as a partner? What would you say to someone that's saying, why should I partner with Sizzle? Like, you know, because you know what I mean? It's always the other way around. It's always, hey, like, why should I accept this person? But why should someone want to partner with Sizzle? What's so great about Sizzle? Obviously, don't go too deep into it, but, you know, in a quick way, you know, why should someone do that?
Well, you know what? I mean, that's a really good question. I've never really gotten why should they partner with Sizzle? I mean, I could say why not, but it kind of sounds weird. Yeah, I mean, it's really if they really want, we're a community of people that support each other, and if you want that support system, that's, you know, that's what it is. You know, over any other experience they've had with, like, let's say other gaming teams or whatever, that Sizzle, being in the Sizzle fam has been like the best. I'd say, like, if you're not, I guess, you know, interested in popcorn, then I mean, well, partnering with us wouldn't really make sense. But whole, you know, is just really a support system. So if I were to answer that question, it's like you get the support from others who are sort of on the same page or on the same path. It just so happens that we complement that with popcorn. So yeah, I mean, that's like the short answer why people should partner with us. It's about what, just popcorn. So, like, you know, reaching out to people, getting into like group chats, you know, doing like collabs with people on content wars, basically. If you're looking to expand your network, meet other like-minded people, it's just, you know, it's a place to do that. So there's a bunch of benefits for a snack. There's all those other aspects of just like being able to easily make friends with people, and you know, have that like sort of, like, I know it's online, but people become friends online like right away. So that's what'll happen. Like, you'll become friends with people right away. You'll get familiar with people in the community every single day, and if that's what you're about, then you'll fit right in.
Cool, that's great. So yeah, we're gonna move on to the last section here. We've covered, you know, how did you guys get launched? What made you get the community? You know, we talked about how to partner with Sizzle. And I think the last thing I want to touch on before we open up to any questions, I think we're at about 7:40 here, so I think we're right on schedule. If we can try to wrap this last section up here within 5-ish minutes, that way we can open up to end questions. I just want to go over the future of Sizzle, and this is something I know you said you wanted to be brought up, and I could tell that is probably something important for you because a lot of companies don't get a chance to share that. It's always great in the time. It's always it's always what's popular at the moment. Definitely like I can understand that Gamer Advantage. I mean, in the last year we've I don't know 20,000 followers on Twitter. Like it's always great in the moment, but why should someone partner with you? Because of where you guys are going to be in 5 years. Like, what is your next step plans for Sizzle, and like why is it good that Sizzle is within the food space?
Yeah, great question. So starting a food business, I'd say, is like one of the hardest things you could do. It's just because like it's so competitive. But look, in content creation space right now, I can't say that I've seen any other popcorn companies. I've seen some come and go. Overall, starting a food business is super tough. Okay, when it comes to all the boring stuff, when it comes to like all the financial side of things, to actually get a food brand off the ground. Profitability is super tough. So it's like what you make after selling your product. So there's costs, and then what you make after your costs are paid. That's profit. It's very off as a food business. But look, moving forward into the future, we're all about just like doing things. So CPG businesses, which is a consumer packaged goods business. That's what CPG stands for anyone that didn't know. Our focus now, I know some people for some reason don't agree with this, don't really see value in this, but we actually partnered with years ago, and there's a whole ecosystem, beyond just Theta TV. There's the whole Web3 movement with NFTs, with that whole just like future of the internet. Now, my personal, I guess, thought would be, in this day and age, like if you want to be successful in the next 5 years in launching a brand, you need to sort of that whole model to what you're doing, that whole future of the internet. I think like if you launch, picture if you launch a business in 5 years from now, let's say it's 5 years from now, 2027, and you say, oh, I want to start a food business, you're good, but to integrate some form of Web3, okay, whether that's building your own decentralized app. Now I'm getting a little technical here, but building your own decentralized app, using NFTs to your advantage. So it's not just digital art. For those of you that think that that's just what it is, it's not. Okay, there's so much more to eggs on a screen. It's not that. Like there's so much utility that's involved. And again, if you're launching a food business and it's 2027, but to integrate this whole Web3 thing into what you're doing. And yeah, I mean, and so like that's where we're at really right now, building towards the future in terms of longevity. We don't want to just be that brand of the moment. We want to be the brand of the future. So let's bring the future to today, and that's really what we're all about. Being around in 5 years, and I think in 5 years we'll have no choice but to be a part of that whole Web3 future of the internet. So that's our future. Not leaving too much in the moment, but obviously yes, in the moment, because we don't want to miss a moment. Yeah, don't get caught up. Enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey, because that's what this is all about. When you're building a business, it's all about the journey. It's not about the destination. Because once you get to the destination, you're gonna want to go journey. The longer it takes, the better. And that's the 5-year outlook basically for Sizzle right now.
Cool, that's awesome. I think that's good to provide insight because obviously, if someone's gonna want to partner with a brand, they're going to make sure there is that longevity in it as well.
Exactly.
That there's going to be a long-term, still going with the company. So no, that's great. And I think this was very insightful, and we learned a lot about Sizzle and, why Sizzle. So if anyone has any questions, we're definitely open. We probably have another good, 15 minutes here. If anyone wants to ask any questions, we can go over. So you can use general chat, or there's actually an open chat within this call. So feel free to open that chat up as well and type a message in.
Yeah, take your best shot, guys.
Let's see. I'm just and if not, there's no worries. That's I feel like we did cover quite a bit on this call.
For sure.
Yeah. So
Don't be shy, really, guys.
guess
Don't.
they just want free popcorn.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we're open for questions. You can also, if you guys want to, you can unmute in here and ask it as well. Feel free. I was trying to avoid everyone chiming in at once, but it doesn't seem that way. So if you guys have anything, feel free to unmute yourself real quick and ask something. Yeah, you can go, Alpha. You can go ahead. Ask your question.
Well, yeah, we ship to in Canada, US, and the UK actually. So, but nowhere else right now. But we may open that up in the future. Where are your friends? European? Okay. I know that there's like. I'm not too familiar because I don't really know everything about the. I think Panda may actually be able to answer this. It's actually cool that he's here because he's an ex military member, American military. Is that we can send it to and then they forward it to their stations. I think that's a thing because you know what I'm talking about. So then. Okay. Okay.